Hey, hi, what is up? Foxman here. Recovering a lost shuttle of a series. Foxman plays Kerbal Space Program. It has been quite a while since I played this. A few reasons for that, which we'll delve into quickly. Right now is a good time. Basically, if you look in the bottom right corner, you see we're on version 0.22.0.351. The significant part is the 0.22. I honestly don't, it must be very minor stuff, the last three or four digits. Anyways, in this one, they've actually put in something that I've been waiting for since I first started playing this game, and I almost didn't. Let's just go in here. I almost didn't start playing this game originally because I knew this was gonna come, and I was like, just a bit of a waste of time, I'm just gonna wait it out. I couldn't hold back. I played the game for a bit, but I took a break, and now we're here because it's got a career mode. It's still in development, but it's got a career mode to some extent, and we're gonna jump into it. So I think, I don't have any. I did a quick little mission just to make sure everything was what I thought it was, and it is. We can't do training yet or scenarios. Actually, if I go back, Spaceport is where we get mods and stuff like that. The KSB community. It's really good. The very mod-friendly community or game in general, which is nice. And a lot of the things that modders do, because they can't wait for the main developers to do, Squad is the developer, is they'll go and do their little mods, and then the developer squad will come in and be like, all right, time to implement it right in the core of the game. Which, they've got a roadmap and all that kind of stuff you can find on their wiki. But let's just start. All right, no more diddly daddling. Player name will go with Foxman. Flag, you can pick your flags, which is a nice little touch. I think I'm gonna have to go with trees because I love trees. The other one I really like is the orbs and circles up there is pretty neat. I also like minimalistic, but I don't want other civilizations. Maybe there's some kind of universal paradigm where this is the surrender flag for any civilization. I don't want them to think I'm surrendering because really I'm gonna destroy them with trees. So got our trees, and you can see here there are two modes. There's sandbox and there's career. Sandbox is basically have at it. You've got all the parts and you can do whatever you please, which still the game is very tricky. And then career is a little more limited to start, but in a way, that kind of holds your hand because it tells you what you should be doing at certain points in time, and it eases you into things a little more. So anyways, here you can see the text that says, in career mode, you have to manage all aspects of your space program. And of course, note, this mode is still under development. So, one of the main features that I like about, also you can see if you're looking at my last episode, episode 10, which I don't even know how long ago that was, quite a while ago. They have incorporated some fancy new buildings here. They've updated this space center or space complex. You can see here on the edge is the runway, or if you've got kind of like space planes and such. And then over here up on the north side is the, I'm doing something wrong here, is the launch pad for your traditional rockets and spaceships. We've got the hangar, their space plane hangar, and if you're wondering how I know the names of these buildings, bottom left corner when you hover over buildings. So bottom left corner says space plane hangar. Here we've got the astronaut complex, which is new. We've got our flagpole. I'm gonna pick our flag. Except, I don't know if you guys could tell on the video, but it actually changed the flag. I can see a little miniature flag. What else do we have? So the astronaut complex, research and development, And then we have, this is the vehicle assembly building for your traditional rockets and the tracking station. So they've done work on all of these things, of course, but one of the newest is, well, the two newest that I'm not familiar with. And this guy up here, that little tiny guy, I don't know what he is. When I hover over him, nothing really happens. So maybe it's part of the vehicle assembly building, or who knows. Anyways, the astronaut complex. This is where we actually kind of get to manage our astronauts. Before, if you recall previous versions, you were limited to Bill Kerman, Bob Kerman, and Jebediah Kerman. Now we have some more options, which I'll get to in a moment. And then research and development. This big honkin' piece of business. I don't even know. I mean, there's a lot of R&D going on there. Actually, it's probably best if we go to the astronaut complex first, because it's easier to get across. So here you can see 2 panes. On the right side, we've got this tab here that we're currently under is the available astronauts. So these are the guys that we currently have enrolled in our program. And you can see they're all available for the next mission. And they break it up into 2 categories, 2 attributes. I'm not sure if this is... I'm pretty sure this is going to expand in the future. Maybe, maybe not. In terms of, I know you're going to be able to train the astronauts so they become more competent and all that. Maybe that's not a feature in this version. I'm honestly not sure yet. But you can see they have courage and stupidity. Both still pretty important attributes. So obviously we want stupidity to be lower. Bob here is a pretty smart guy, it seems. But we want courage. I don't know if you necessarily want courage to be super high. You don't want it to be super low. I'm just thinking theoretically here, not from the game's perspective. But middle of the road, at least, I think is probably ideal. Maybe you want them to be full on courage. Maybe that's what they're going for. But you can see if I click the assign tab, nobody's assigned to any missions. And lost, you know, that'd be like if we had one lost in space or something and we couldn't get them back. I'm not exactly sure because I haven't lost anybody yet. Here on the left we have all the applicants. So we got some new guys. We got Kerbal Kerman, Kirkan Kerman, Shelfin Kerman. I like Shelfin. You got Jedred. Is that like Judge Dredd? You got TomKat. Not to be confused with TomKat. Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes. Are they still together? Kerdrin Kerman, Nedzor Kerman. I like Nedzor. And Munmore. Nedzor and Munmore. They seem like they'd be a good tag team to me. Anyways, what I'm gonna do is just take... who's got the least stupidity? Kerbal Kerman seems pretty competent to me. Yeah. Courage-wise, he's pretty good too. And the thing... Oopsies, why am I trying to drag and drop? The thing I'm kind of... Okay, so you can see here, these original guys have orange suits, so maybe that means they're a little more experienced. This guy's got a grayish suit, and all these recruits don't even have their spacesuits, so... Not sure exactly what the deal with that is, but this is basically all we can do in the astronaut complex right now. So let's get the heck out of here. Have a quick look at the... well, I don't need to show you tracking station just yet. We'll actually go there when we need to use it. Spaceplane hangar, pretty much the same for sake of argument right now for this video anyways, because I'm not going to be doing any space planes. Again, you will see why shortly, because we are in career mode. R&D. This is one of the more exciting things to me. So what we have here is when we click this guy, this is like each one of these is a little bit of technology that we can research. When you research something, you learn something, you can develop a product based on that research. So this one that we've got, this is the technology we started out with. So we've already researched this. That's why it's green. But you can see here we have these available parts. So these are very, 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 very basic. Just basic enough to give us a rocket that we can use to kind of do a few things and collect more research. So anyways, we have the command pod. I'm not going to go over all the descriptions, at least not at this moment. I've done that in the past anyways. But the command pod, this is where our little dude sits. They command the spaceship, the spacecraft, from there. So that's obviously that's the pivotal point of a ship. I'd say it's the foundation, except it's kind of the roof in the sense that it's on the top usually, but it's the foundation in terms of like you can't build a spaceship all that well without a command pod. I mean, you can in a way. Let's not get into semantics and stuff. Let's just agree at the very least to disagree or agree to agree. I don't even know. We got a liquid fuel engine. This one is the kind of like full-on horsepower, 215 thruster engine max power. So this one is it's a no frills sort of just like, here you go, I'm gonna give you some liquid fuel and you're gonna turn it into spewing column of fire. That's that. It's good. I mean, it'll get us going. And we have a solid fuel booster. Solid fuel boosters, if you don't remember, they incorporate basically the engine or the thruster right in there. So we don't need a separate engine. Whereas this is just the liquid fuel engine. We still need here the fuel tank. So this is a liquid fuel tank, and you can see it's, when you look at the bottom, you can see all the different attributes. So they'll have a total mass. With anything like liquid fuel, they have a dry mass as well. So that's when all the fuel is out, which is something you do need to consider if it's still attached to your ship. It's just dead weight essentially. So there's that, and we have the modular girder segment. This is just kind of like a structural component. You can attach other components to it. I'm not sure of how I'm gonna use it right now, or if I will use it, but it's there. It's nice. It's basic. That's what we like. Communotron 16. This is actually something that's going to be pretty important to us. You'll see shortly. It's basically an antenna. And the description says it's suitable for moderate range communication, long range backup communication, and eavesdropping on secret government operations. What do they say? Resources required per packet. Electric charge 10, packet size 2, transmission interval 0.4, total throughput 0.8. Some of those kind of confuse me, but I'm hoping we will learn about them later. So, yes, I'll show you quickly. I don't know why there's no graphic here, but this is the parachute that we attach on top of our command pod, and that's going to that's going to allow us to actually save our astronaut's life so he can kind of get back and provide all this research. So anyways, that's what we start with. We've already got these parts. Now, you can see here, this little doohickey is the next one. It's the only one we can go to next. It'll branch out eventually, but this is the basic basic rocketry. Why can't I say rocketry? Rocketry, 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 ho, rocketry, yeah. All right. How hard can rocket science be anyway? So this is one we don't have. We have to research it. To research it, you can see down at the bottom of this blue button, it says 5 science. That means we need to get 5 science points. To get 5 science points, we need to do research. To do research, we need to build a spacecraft with the components from this first stage, or this first technology that we already have. We'll be able to collect, hopefully, some basic datum. Datum is a singular, data is plural. But do you say it data or data? Datum. Tomato. I'm not even, yeah, whatever. You get into it in the comments if you desire. Good luck with that, by the way. Because you're just going to be spelling it D-A. No, I pronounce it D-A-T-A. And then the other person's like, no, I pronounce it D-A-T-A. And then you're like, no, you're wrong. And you know you're wrong. And then you're going to kiss and make out and make up and, yeah. Yeah. So you can see there's definitely a drive to get the research so we can get this, because we're going to get a few other things. We're going to get additional fuel tank. We're going to get or 2 different sizes. In the first one, let me see what size. It's the FLT 200. So you can see it's got 90 out of 90 liquid fuel. And when we come to this guy, it's the T400. Makes sense that it also has twice as much liquid fuel, 180. And then the T100 is half of the T200 at 45. And you'll be thinking, maybe, like, why the heck do I want that? Because at certain stages of your craft, as you'll see as we continue this series, you'll want it smaller, which means you have less liquid fuel, but that means you have a smaller mass as well, which is something you always need to consider for efficiency purposes. And just it's amazing how much it plays into staging. You can get an extra 10,000 meters away from the Earth's atmosphere just by shifting weight around at certain stages, so don't underestimate it. This little guy, Mystery Goo Containment Unit, basically they just say they don't. One of the engineers came upon it in a dumpster, just like a big old Christmas ham, and that's, wait, let me read a little more. It's still a container which appears to be full of strange-looking substance. We couldn't couldn't reach in or break the canister open, but watching how the goo behaves when subjected to different situations could be very educational. So this is something, actually, you think, oh, this is just a little gimmicky kind of thing. But based on my initial tests, it's part of the research. So if you fly up into space, you can kind of do the goo and release the goo. Do the goo? Do you do the goo? Because I do the goo. When you release it, you can see how it reacts to whatever conditions you're in. So that's going to help us get a lot of these science points. But we have to get science points without it to get more science points with it, because we don't have it yet. You know what I'm saying? And this guy, which I'm actually really looking forward to, the stack decoupler. And all that does is that allows you to actually stage a little better. So when you expend all of your fuel, you can say, all right, decouple. And then that way you don't have the dead weight of the empty fuel tanks. So anyways, that's that. We're going to pretty quickly get enough research to upgrade this guy, and I'm going to show you guys the other branches, and we'll just see how far we go. I spent a little bit of time on this. I mostly just wanted to rekindle the burning fire of playing this game, because it's awesome, and I've just been waiting for them to develop it more. Remember, when I first started playing this game, it was in an alpha stage. I'm not even sure if it's still considered alpha or if it's considered beta, but there's a lot more to come. At the very least, it's absolutely not final release. Well, I guess if their features are still in development, then that would be alpha. Technically, the definition of going into beta means it's kind of feature complete, and they're just trying to work on bugs and all that crap. So I would consider this alpha still. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyways, without further ado, we're going to go to our vehicle assembly building, and we shall... Oh, look at the little truck going on back there. Hey, what's up? We shall begin. They've got a few new tabs up top here, which you'll see in a second what exactly they do. To the left here, we've got, and I sincerely apologize if you can't see my mouse cursor. I forgot to check if I turn that option on in Fraps. If it is off, I will hopefully remember to do it for the next one. I think this is the kind of game where seeing when my cursor is a little more helpful than not pivotal, but it helps when I kind of hover over certain areas to explain. But here I'm going along the tabs here. So we've got the command pod. We need that. This is the only one we have currently, so I'm not even going to hesitate to plop it in there. And if I go back here and hover over, again, we want to look at the basic stats, attributes we've got going on here. This one is for, I believe, where does it say? It should say, dry mat, no. it should say, oh, minimum crew to operate is the first thing, is 1. So we're only going to be putting one of our astronauts in here. You can see in the very top lines, it's got cost and amount in stock. So the cost is 600, amount in stock is 999. That is one of the features I know they're going to be implementing later into the career. Again, career is still in development, like I mentioned earlier. They're going to make it so that you actually have limited funds and you have a limited amount in stock. Supposedly, you'll be able to salvage certain components if you've had a successful... well, look at, do you see that little truck zipping around back? Oh my goodness. He is now following safe workplace practices. Anyways, back to the point. You will be able to salvage certain components and even repair them because you only have so many in stock and you only have so much money and all that. So it's going to add another possibly very challenging element to the game, which I'm looking forward to it. It'll be nice. But for now, that's still under development, so we've got plenty in stock and we don't have to worry about conserving funds or limiting our ships in those ways. We just need to make good ships. So, we've got that. Propulsion. We've got a couple options here. We either go with the solid fuel booster, which you can't throttle, which is something very important to remember. Wait. Yeah, no, you can't throttle. Hey, do I remember? Yeah, no, you can't throttle them, I don't think. Wait, it should say somewhere in here. Repellent, soft-fuel flame threshold, engine cannot be shut down. There you go. Maybe you can throttle it, but you can't shut it down? Is that it? At the very least, that's something you can take into consideration. It's one of the reasons why I typically like the liquid fuel engine. You've got a little more control over it. You can shut it off completely, which is very, very important to me. A little more control. Is that, and because the liquid fuel engine needs to be paired with the liquid fuel tank. So what I'm gonna do, plop. Let's plop, 3, 4, I'm not exactly sure what the limit is, 5, let's try 6, actually, see how that goes, let's see how far we get with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, got our engine. Of course, we don't have any decouplers yet, so consider this as one giant piece with very limited staging. The only staging we're really going to have is the parachute itself, I believe. Control, we have no control. Control would be things like RCS thrusters or the stability assistance something, SAS. I always forget what that one is. That just helps kind of stabilize the whole thing. However, our command pod, if we go back to it, it says it is SAS equipped. SAS. So it's got it built in. However, really it's only effective for the mass of the actual pod itself. The SAS it has is not sufficient to control something this large, or at least if it can control it, it's not going to be doing it so easily as if it were just the command pod itself. Again, something to consider. We'll get those SAS modules at a later point. Module girder segment, I have no idea what the heck or how the heck I would use this at this point in time, so I will just leave it be. We have no aerodynamic components. Utilities. Hey, parachute, very important. I'm gonna plop that guy right up top. We've got science sub-assemblies. This is a new thing. I think this is actually where drag and drop a part here to save it as a sub-assembly. The selected part is not attachable. What do you mean? I think that's just where if you use a grouping of components frequent enough, you can actually save them together so you don't have to build them over and over and over. But apparently I can't do it with this entire ship. That's fine. What if I did it like this? Sub-assembly, drag and drop part here to save it. Oh, okay, so I can actually save that, but I'm not going to do it in this situation. I just wanted to see. Apparently you can't do an entire ship. And we're going to go back to the Communotron. This is the antenna we were talking about. It's gonna help us with this research component. I'm going to attach it right. I don't know. Let's attach. Actually, yeah, let's attach it on the side here. Not gonna screw up the aerodynamics too much. It's pretty narrow. And that is pretty much all we need to do, except to make sure our staging in the bottom right here is correct. And the one thing that you'll notice is messed up is that the engine thrusters and the parachute are in the same stage. You don't want that. It's gonna cause trouble. So we're gonna move the engine down to the first stage. And I think that's all we really need. The only other remaining thing is to name this guy. So I did a little bit of research beforehand. I like cool names. I like looking up the meaning of certain things in Latin as well. So my pronunciation may be a bit butchered, but I believe it's Auctus, A-U-C-T-U-S, and that is a Latin word for growth. I kind of like that, and I think it's fitting in this situation because throughout the rest of this series, we're going to continue to grow in terms of our understanding of the universe and rocketry and rocket science and all that good stuff. Just science in general. We're going to explore, learn things about the universe that we didn't know before. And two, the growth in terms of, our spaceships are probably going to be growing in maybe in size or complexity or functionality. Who knows? So I think it's all around, it's pretty fitting and it's cool as heck. So, I'm gonna do Octus Mark 1, and we're gonna save this bad boy. Yeah, it's looking not too gloomy out there. Gotta thank God today was a good day. So, this is basic, but this is pretty much all we can build. We could do variations on how many liquid fuel tanks we have. And the only other thing is using this modular girder segment, maybe adding a few more antennas. I'm not sure if that's beneficial or just gravy. Gravy. And of course the other thing we could do is the solid fuel booster, but I can't really attach it. And I don't even know if you can stack. Damn, I think we'd only be able to use one. So let's just save it. And these tabs. That's the last thing. So I go to this tab, which was action groups, which I'm still not quite so sure about. You can see here we've got stage, gear, light, RCS, SAS, brakes, abort. I'm gonna have to get into that a little more, maybe do a little bit of reading. But this is a new feature, group actions, selection. It's there, we'll figure it out at some point. This tab we were in is parts, and then the last one here is crew. This is where we get to say, hey, I want you. I want you. I want Holyfield. And I think I'm actually gonna start with Kerman, because he's not that, he's just a hair, you probably can't even tell, but literally like a hair's width or two more stupid than Bob Kerman, but he's more courageous. So we're gonna get you back here and we're gonna throw in Kirby Kerman, and of course they've got a link here to the astronaut complex, so if you want to go and decide to recruit some more dudes, you can do that right from here, which is decent. So that's that, can't scraps, and we're gonna save it one last time, and let's just go to the launch pad. Hope this thing stands up under its own strength. Excuse me, I had to take a drink. So, you see our glorious tree flag there. Is that a fuel tower or a water tower? I don't know. This thing stands on its own pretty well. You can see our complex over here. You can see, where's Mun? Mun is the moon that orbits Kerbal. Kerbin's the name of the planet, not Kerbal. Kerbal is like Kerbal. Kerbals. Ah, fudge me. I'm getting myself confused. Anyways, this is our ship. A few things as a refresher. We've kind of got the stages on the left side over here, so you can see the higher the number, that means like that's the next stage to go off. So once we get down to 0, like that's the last stage, which is why the parachute is the last stage. You don't want them flip-flopped around, because that would be silly. And here we've got our nav ball, just gonna tell us how the heck we're doing, where we're going, basically. And we've got our throttle and other components. Turn on our RCS and SAS. Up top, we've got our recover vessel. Ah, that's a new button. Abort. Oh, lights, gears, brakes. All right, so these are a couple things I'm not as familiar with, but you can see what our altitude will be, and you know what stage of the atmosphere we're in, all that good stuff, which they've had for a little while. And then of course we've got Kerbal. We can evacuate the dude, or we can go inside. Actually, this is pretty neat. I don't know why that thing's going all loco. We're not moving, but he's in here. He's got little booties. But we're gonna go back out. I'm just gonna press V as the button to get back outside. We can get him to jump out. Anyways, you guys probably know most of this stuff, and you're like, get on with it, sucker! I'm going. Turning R and T, so R turns on the RCS, and T turns on the SAS. We don't actually have any RCS, it's just more habitual for me. RCS is those kind of like little tiny rockets on the side that can change your, what are the terms we're looking for? Pitch and yaw and roll and all that crap? I don't even know. SAS is going to help keep us stable. So if I didn't have SAS on right now, we'd probably veer slightly one way or another. Kerbal, is that a look of horror? Or is he just kind of loopy? He's a little loopy. We're getting off the ground with this. This is 6 fuel tanks and 1 engine. So what we need to consider here is that it's probably a slower start per se because there's more initial mass, but we've got enough fuel to kind of keep on going for a longer time. And of course, the higher we go, further away we get from the gravity, the less thrust we'll need to go like further and further distances. So it's all about finding a balance. Here you can see slowly the stars in the galaxy, and there's the sun start to come in. So there we go. We have reached approximately 55,000 meters when our fuel ran out. You can see our velocity is slowing down a bit, but we're still climbing. Velocity you can see in our little nav ball down here, just getting close to 1,700 meters per second. Still pretty fast. Anyways, what's going on here? I should do it quickly. Crew report. So here I click, it seems we are very much in space right now. The sky seems to be mostly below us. Data size 5 MITs. Scientific value 5. So since I have the antenna, I can transmit that data. One of the things you need to notice here is the electric charge. It slowly kind of goes down. It takes an electric charge to send that transmission. So if we don't have enough of it, we can't send the transmission. But we can keep the data. He kind of writes it down instead. And so long as our little dude survives and makes it back to Earth and doesn't die, then yay, we can just bring our little check sheet or our report right back. But if this guy's stranded, we can transmit the data. Of course, we've got a mid-range antenna, so I'm gonna do it doggy style. Let me actually discard that data for now. Try and collect some again. We're at 210, so I'm not sure how much longer we're gonna keep going. I mean, we still got a good speed. Still going above 1 kilometer a second. So you know what? Let's just see. I can speed things up a bit if I want. I didn't change the direction at all of this craft. We might have been able to actually possibly enter... Whoa. Enter an actual orbit. But honestly, at this point, it's not. I don't really care. Galaxy's back there, looking pretty. So you can see this is the... Alright, always mixing up the... This is the apoapsis. Periapsis is on the other end of this orbit, and the orbit is basically, I don't know, somewhere in here, close to the center of the Earth. So we're just gonna go, I think, to the apoapsis, and then I'm gonna try to send my thing, if I have enough juice left. It seems I do. It's very round. So that's his report right now. Scientific value isn't all that extreme. But there's going to be other things you're going to see very shortly that we will be able to do reports on, and it'll have its own scientific values. The other thing I think I noticed when I did this is that if you try to collect the same, like you make the same observation a second time, the scientific value is cut down drastically. So if we came up here again and reported that it's very round, it wouldn't have a scientific value of 5. It might be down to like 0.5 or something in that spectrum. So anyways, let's go back. If we had a decoupler right now and I could decouple all these components, we'd have a lot less mass to slow us down. We would make it a lot further out than the apoapsis of 373,000 meters. So that'd be cool. But unfortunately, we're not in the position to do that just yet. It is pretty damn round. Beautiful. Let's see. Toggle torque. I don't know what that does. Rename vessel. No, I don't want to do that. Control from here. It's the only control point anyways, which is important to remember when we actually get into doing space stations and stuff. It still says it's very round. What I'm going to do, just speed up very, very briefly until we get to the apoapsis. Oh shit, that's why I'm throttled up, which is silly because we don't have any fuel. So there we go. 373 is nearing. And then go back, right click on our command pod, crew report. Crew reporting in from space. Wow. Let's see if we can transmit this. Starting transmission. Uploading data 100%. 5 data received on crew report on space. Nice. I've had it happen in the past where it failed. And the reason why is if we click on this again, the electric charge now went from 40, what was that, 47 or 42 or in the 40s, I know that. After sending, that took us from like around approximately 25 out of the 50. So almost half of the electric charge is gone, or maybe a little more, just for transmitting that one bit of information. So I gotta figure out how we get more electric charge. That would be something I want to do. And now you can see we are beginning our descent back to Earth. Gravity is sucking us back in. You can't quit me! Get back here! Eat your vegetables! You're not strong enough to go out into space! Rah, 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 rah. So crew report is very round. You can see that's not really any... That's pretty much, I guess they consider it the same as the previous bit of data. Because this at first was a scientific value of 5. Now it's already dropped to 1.9. Because they've already received like, oh, we're reporting in from space. It's pretty much the same observation as it's very round at this point. Nothing has really changed. I can try to send this, but it might fail. So let's see. Uploading data 33%. So they got 2 data received out of the 5. And that drained 10 of our 19 remaining electric charge. So something we can do is if I right click on this, click crew report. All right, crew reporting it from space. So he's saying the same bullshit again. I can just say keep data. And now what it does is we can review our report. So very round. That is our current report. I can discard this. I don't know why you can't do multiple reports. So if I discard it and then I come back, do crew report again. Very round. Keep data. It won't let me transmit because we don't have enough juice. I'm just gonna go back. Keep the data. And that's that. So gotta figure out if maybe adding another antenna, if that's gonna increase our electric charge to 100 instead of 50 and allow us to transmit essentially twice as much information, or if it has to do with the actual command module. It might be that energy, fuel, and everything is at it's a very, very tight margin. So since I don't want to sit here for another 20 minutes, what I'm gonna do, why I didn't throttle up. You throttled me up, baby. We're gonna do this 10 times. We go. I mean, you actually notice we're picking up velocity. Gravity is pulling us in harder and harder. Oh, harder, harder. Oh yeah. Oh, that's the spot. Oh yeah, harder. Oh yeah. Fuck me harder. Oh, and one thing that sucks, Major Monkey Bum, is I didn't change the direction of the craft so that it would basically plummet into water, which is something you want to do because we might not survive. And if we don't survive, then I don't get to keep the information that we basically jotted down. But this is so cool. I love this part. The atmosphere and shit. And now you can hear the sound coming in. Woo! And now it's air. Let's get the parachute out. I probably should have done... Well, no, it's fine. It should open up soon. You're going to see some explosions. If the command pod explodes, though, that's anybody's guess. They're built Ford tough. Open up. There we go. Okay. Hey, look at the little shadow down there. This game's getting better and better all the time. Pretty nice looking mountains here. And we're pretty far from the space station. But that's okay, because I've got a plan B. Not really a plan B. It's always part of plan A. And we can recover these guys. If they're alive. No. So, command pod actually survived. And the antenna, which seems odd because it looks pretty fragile. Fragile, must be Italian. There's Mun. One day, we will return. So what I'm going to do, click this, and nothing new there. Our electric charge is 0. That sucks. We're going to EVA. Oh, we're floating. There we go. He's got an EVA. Wait, can we store experiments? Nothing to store. Okay, well, so that's kind of promising, though. We get to do experiments at some point. EVA report. This is the most precarious situation. Scientific value 5.6. That's not too shabby. It's not going to let me, yeah, because he's outside of the ship. We can't transmit it because he doesn't have access to communications devices. If I click him again, EVA report. Oopsies. Review report. I'm just gonna say keep data. So he's just jotting it down on his arm or something like that. So now if we go to, wait, what's resources? I forget. Go to. Actually, I want this. Just get off. Get off. Nope, nope. There you go. Oh, I'm beat. Do 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 do. Whoop whoop whoop. We can actually turn on RCS thrusters for this guy, but he can't really go anywhere because oh no, oh no, oh no! Don't die because the gravity's so hard. The RCS thrusters are meant for low gravitational bodies or whatever the technical term is, basically MUN and MINMUS and some other places. Anyways, we'll get there, don't worry. Now I'm gonna go Space Center. So we got a couple things. We're gonna go to the tracking station, which I mentioned earlier. So here, we can basically, this is a map of, well, a few things. Here's Ike, Gilly, the other planets. Minmus. This is Mun, that's the moon. There's Tylo, Val, and Lathe? Lathe? I'm not sure how to pronounce some of these. We don't even know the orbit of them because they're so far out. And then, wait a minute. More here. Moho, Evie, or Eve. I don't know why I said Evie. Oh wait, I already saw Gilly. Anyways, we got some cool ass shit going on. Oh, there we go. I guess we can see their orbits. I just wasn't zoomed in enough. Ah, this is much nicer. Elo. There's Joel. I gotta learn how to pronounce every single one of these. I don't want to feel like a fool for 20 episodes. Drez. And then we get Duna, Moho, Eve. This is Kerbin, planet Kerbin. Where was Minmus? I forget. That's as far out as I can zoom. FYI. That Moho, where's Minmus? Whatever, Trevor. Anyways, this isn't important right now. This is showing us the parameters of Kerbin too, which is kind of nice. If we click, I don't know if it's gonna let us click. Maybe not. Maybe we can't. Maybe we don't know the parameters of these other places yet. What was I gonna say? Okay, top left-ish area. Well, there's a few things. Flights in progress. See, Octus Mark 1 has landed at Kerbin, and Kerman has landed at Kerbin. So they're there. They're kind of technically still considered in progress, even though they've landed. Here we've just keep track of all the different things. So we've got debris, we've got probes, we've got rovers, we've got landers, ships, stations, bases, EVAs, which is basically our evacuated astronauts, and flags. So, first things that I'm gonna do is I'm going to, since I separated him from the ship, I'm going to go click that tab, and I should definitely zoom in on our fancy little planet. Oh, right, there we go. There's Mun, and Minmus is the other moon. I guess they're both considered moons. Forgot about that. We click him. See, now in the bottom left we can fly. Technically we can't actually fly him because our craft was destroyed, but you can pick up the mission. Maybe we just landed somewhere and then we want to hop somewhere else and then keep going. We can do that. But what I want to do is recover. You sure you want to recover this vessel? Yes, he's not a vessel, but anyways. Here you can see the EVA report we took, right? He wrote it down. So we don't get that information until we get him. So if he had died after he collected that report, so long, farewell. So we get that. And then I'm also gonna collect our ship. If I can find where it is, it's right down here as well. Right where he is. Recover, recover. And we've got a few things. I guess... Wait a minute. Okay, so this is right. So after we transmitted that first bit of information, we collected another bit, but we just saved it right in the ship when we were high over, and we got the 1.4 science from it when we said, oh, it looks really round. And then recovery of a vessel after a suborbital flight. So that's just kind of like standard. We automatically get that science for recovering this. We didn't record that information per se. That's science you gain just by recovering the ship. So you can see for this portion of the mission, we're getting plus 9.4, and then our total now is 20. Do that, and then we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back. We're gonna go back. And then if we go into our R&D lab, if I click this bad boy, research takes 5 science. We look up top, hey, we've got 20 science. Well, you look at that, we are making headway. So I'm gonna say, yeah, research it. And then as soon as we do that, it really starts to open up. So now we not only do we have these 4 additional components or these parts that we can use in building our machinery. I am a machine. That was my Arnold. Now we can look forward to these bad boys, and depending on how much, okay, I've got 15 science remaining, so if I really want to, I can unlock this one right away, or I can save my 15 science points for, you know, whatever reason. I mean, actually the reason's pretty good because I need 3 more, and I could get this one next if I decided that's what I want next. Or if I get 5 more science points, I can go and get this one next. But this one is just more engines, solid fuel booster. I think I might take the survivability one. Landing struts are pretty nice. Just for kicks. We're gonna need to do a lot of research, I guess. But if we're able to land and then take off again, that would be a pretty cool thing. That would be good for research, I'm sure. So, just research it, and boom! We got even more ready to go. So we've got flight control. Something under control may be fun, but engineers insist there's more to rocket science than that. So here we can see we've got some winglets. This is the Mark 1 cockpit. It's just a different cockpit, essentially, for the aerospace planes and all that crap. Stay Putnik, a play on Sputnik. It's the Stay Putnik, like stay put. Anyways. Lightweight sphere, not a spear, it's a sphere. Equipped with remote receivers and tiny gyros for orientation. It carries no crew at all, thus keeping them perfectly safe from all harm. The device does require electricity to operate, however, and will cease to function if the power runs out. The built-in battery should keep it going for about 10 minutes. This is an unmanned craft, which we can control from our tracking station. And the inline reaction wheel. What is this? Medium-sized reaction wheel. This unit contains weighted wheels that spin very quickly to add assistive torque to a spacecraft at the cost of electric charge. Interesting. So that's new to me. There's that guy. And then what was this one? Science tech. We're going to ask all the big questions of the universe eventually. For now, we're starting with these. Oh, yes! So, rechargeable battery pack. The Z10 battery pack is a standard model for electrical applications. Holds 2 quadruple A batteries. I don't think that's a real thing, is it? and holds a maximum 100 units of charge. So we currently have 50 units of electric charge. I think that's to do with the command. Pretty sure the command pod itself. So adding this on, it means we're going to be able to send more transmissions, which is really cool. SC 9001 Science Junior. It's a cutting-edge, self-contained laboratory. Have you ever wondered what happens to something in 0G? Or have you ever pondered the truly meaningful questions such as, what would happen if I expose this to the rigors of stellar radiation and unforgiving vacuum? Comes with complimentary notepad. Why, thank you. Recommended for ages 4 to 8. Small parts inside make it not suitable for small children. What? And then, we've got the comms DTS M1. Fully deployable communications and data transmission system has been designed to have minimal form factor when stowed. Occasional antenna tweaking and swift kicks to the main assembly may be required for optimal performance. So, electrical charge 15, packet size 20. So, this is basically better than what we have, which is nice. I think I almost kind of want to go with this next, but you look here, it escalates pretty quickly. Now we're looking at 45 science points to research this guy. And it's the same for this guy. And 18 and 20. So it might be more appropriate just to go with general rocketry and or stability before we go off to these guys, because then we're going to be able to go in further out into space and stuff like that. Conversely, we'll be able to collect more data with these guys, so we'll have to see. But one thing, I'm going to do one more launch before we call it quits for this episode. Is we're going to modify. And something that's bothering me, I probably shouldn't have put the... I don't know how you actually are supposed to put spell mark in short. Whatever, I'll just keep it for now. I can always change it later. We're going to call this guy Mark II. Not a whole lot is going to change, I don't think. Fuel tanks, we've got fuel tanks, which is nice. Differing sizes. So right now, I think we're using the 200. So let me think. Dry mass, total mass 2.25 is 1.125. The thing is, I don't think this should be exactly half the mass of the 400 because of surface area of the material, right? How does that plays some maybe insignificant, but it plays a factor. It wouldn't be exactly half. I don't feel. Anyways, that's just being nitpicky. But well, I guess we'll just, for aesthetic reasons, what I'm gonna do is switch to 3 of these instead. Should be a little more stable from a structural standpoint. Plunk you there. And then I know we have the stack decoupler. That's good, because what it's going to allow us to do is separate these two dudes. It adds a little bit of mass, but it'll take away a lot once we're up in the air. Put your hands in the air if you feel fine. We're gonna take it into overtime. Welcome to the Space Jam. Landing struts. Not so suitable for this guy. What I might do is make a different spacecraft that's kind of stumpy, and then put these landing struts on. Ooh, look at our flags over there. Landing something this tall is kind of iffy, especially with these guys, right? And you want a low gravity, so basically MUN. So I'll think about that later. And then we also have these radial mount parachutes, which aren't super important because we're going to decouple this and we're just left with the command pod, and this current parachute is more than sufficient to help that guy. The mystery goo. This is what I want. I'm just going to plunk him there. And And or you know what? Just to be safe, let's put them right here. Because if we decouple this first, you know, better safe than sorry. Anyways, we're gonna save it. My crew. Let's get Kerbal going on back in there again. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, save it and let us launch. This time, I'm gonna try and land us hopefully in the water. I don't know if I'll be able to do that or not. We'll see. So full throttle, turn on RCS. Again, doesn't do anything for us currently, but better to get in the habit. And you ready, Kerbal? Boom! And I didn't actually look to make sure the staging was appropriate. I guess we kind of fluked. Didn't mean to do that. But this is, yeah, we want the decoupler to go next after the engines. And then finally the parachute with the command pod. So this guy's going up. I'm going to quickly check this. And what we're going to start doing, turning a tiny bit. There we go. Hopefully it'll keep steady there. Hold steady. And go back to our map. You're going to see this expand outwards a lot quicker now that we've altered our course. Keep going, Nelly. Fuel is almost out. We're not going to make it anywhere near where we did on the last one. Doesn't look like it. Again, that's, you know, changing direction like that isn't helping us. More gravity is acting on the craft now because we're angled in such a way. You know, you could draw a straight line down from this point, you know, by the command pod. It's hard. Again, I don't know if you can see my cursor, so you're like, what the heck is he pointing at? What is he talking about? So here we go. Now we're going to travel further because we've got less mass holding us down, which is nice. Beautiful. Velocity still gone. Let's see how far we go. And what's our... Oh, wow. That is more impressive than I thought, to be honest. Not as high in apoapsis as our previous one, but again, that's because we weren't going straight up. We kind of started to form a little bit more of a proper orbit. Not quite, but maybe with that ship we could actually achieve maybe a full orbit around Kerbal. No worries though, again, this is just for research. So one of the things we can do is release the goo right now. I want to see crew report. Seems we are very much in space right now. The sky seems to be mostly below us. That value is 5 right now. But that's not what I don't want to report that from here. What I want to report is observe mystery goo. The goo seems to have clumped into a sphere. It also appears to to have become brittle. Look at that, scientific value 10. I think. What? Transmit data is 40% scientific value, so we can't transmit all of it. If I keep the data like that. There we go. So I wrote the data. The previous data down. I'm going to try and transmit this one. 100%. Good stuff. So here we can Oh, we can reset the goo canister. Does that take a charge or anything? Observe mystery goo. Clumped in a sphere, it also appears to become brittle. It's probably going to stay in that state. So what I'll do, I'll just keep it. Let's keep it. Now, our orbit. So it looks like we are going to land in water, which is going to help a bit. And it's also going to help us do another thing. I actually want to... something I discovered was that you can collect water samples and shit. So I'm sure that's going to play quite well later when we're on planets that have maybe gaseous substances, or maybe they have water themselves, or ice, or who knows. Like, collecting the different substances is good. It's good. It's good. Pop this guy up. I'm just gonna speed up at this point, although I think what I'm gonna do, just try it one last time to see if it changes. Reset the goo canister. Observe this crazy mofo. The goo feels right at home here. I don't say different description, but it's worth the same amount. So what we'll probably do is when we get to the apoapsis. Keep the data for now. Let me throttle down because it won't let us accelerate if I stay throttled up. I always forget about that. Get to the apoapsis. Alright. Find this goo canister. Let's reset it once more. Just make sure nothing crazy has changed. Right at home. Alright. Write that sucker down. And then we're going to speed things up a little bit. Come on! Oh, it's going to start burning up soon. This is one of my favorite parts. And then the sound is going to come back on, because there's no sound in space. Can I speed up a little more until we actually get in there. Start seeing some of the water. Water sucks. Oh, s'mores. S'more of what? That's so cool. Parachute open. We're 5 kilometers above. Well, 4 kilometers now. We're still going pretty fast. Slowing down, slowing down, slowing down. Once we get to about 100 meters per second, it'll probably open. I forget what the number is. 100 or 80 or something like that. Please open. Oh. Oh, right. I think it's more to do with once we get to 500 meters, it opens up, or who knows? Oopsies. No, I don't want to speed up anymore. My bad. There we go. Just keep it at that. Having the goo go in the water is probably helpful too. But we would have to reset it, which I don't want to do. Crew report. You record the crew's assessment of the situation. This is only worth 2, but it's better to keep it than to not keep it. And we're actually going to evacuate this sucker. He's going to do a couple things. EVA report. 5.6. I'll take it. And then we're going to get him to... No, get off. There we go. Take surface sample. This is what I wanted to show you guys. So, taking a sample of the water appears to dramatically increase the surface humidity of anything it touches. Scientific value 12, which is crazy because you don't need to travel in a freaking spacecraft and then go into space and then come back down and land in water just to collect water on your own planet. They could just walk to the shore and be like, all right. But anyways, I'm not complaining because we got some scientific value. Keep data. Now all we need to go do is go back to our tracking station, recover these mofos. and then we'll have some nice juicy information. So I'll be a nice guy and get Kerbal first. Where are you at, Kerbal? Cover. So 12 science for the surface sample, the water we collected, and then 5.6 from the evacuation report, or the EVA report, whatever. So now we're up to 23 science, which is nice. Done. And then we find our sweet ship, our command pod, collect it. So, crew report, the 2.0 that I gathered when we just kind of landed in the water. Not a lot, but why not? The mystery goo, we got 10 from that. And then recovery of a vessel after suborbital flight, 1.3. Not so much. We've already recovered one from a suborbital flight, so big deal. But still, it's better than nothing. We got that. We go back to our research and development center. We can decide if which way we want to go. So I've only got 36 science. Again, look up towards the top right in the blue text there. So I can't get either one of these. I could do a few more launches with our current ship, but we're probably going to get more minimalistic numbers. Again, if we're collecting the same information over and over again, it's going to become less and less valuable. They want you to collect new information. Makes sense. So these guys might just stay for a while, and I think it may be best to get one of these guys. Radio decoupler will actually help me do a lot of shit. I think I might go for stability. Actually, we can get both of these. No, we can't. Sorry, I thought this one was 15, and 18 would be shy of the 36. Darn it. Well, you know what? Let's get the stability, because I do think that's going to be more useful to us immediately. Nice. Got 18. And what does this give us now? This also, the stability leads into the flight control as well. So if we had have gone with that instead of the survivability, we still would have gotten the flight control, but we wouldn't have gotten the science tech. And this guy ties into the general construction as well. So here we've got strut connector, got the launch stability enhancer, radial decoupler, stacked tricoupler. So basically just general construction, making our crafts a little more structurally sound. And then this one, flight control, we've got a winglet. Well, we already went over this. I don't even know why I'm looking at them again. Although that inline reaction wheel, that's getting my revs roaring. So, next up, we'll wait, these guys are 45, 45, 45. They're on this. Oh, okay, so they're all lined up on this grid. So that means they're worth the same point. This guy's here, we're 15, this was 18, this one's 20, but they're not lined up, so it makes sense. Okay, cool, I get it, okay? Cut me some slack. Basic rocketry, might do that one next. Wait. This guy's okay. I don't really care for the solid fuel booster, but this is the better liquid fuel engine. It's got 200 instead of 215 max power, but this one does have the thrust vectoring. Better control. Oh man, that can corner like on a dime, maybe even on a penny. Actually, a dime is smaller than a penny, so. Yeah. So all we really need is 2 more points. So I could do another very basic launch without even modifying our thing, get the extra 2 points, and then I could get the general rocketry. It's not absolutely necessary. But, hey. It is what it is. That was the Mark II. So, what you can expect next episode, we're going to play around with some of these additional parts we got, wherever they may be in here. Particularly the radial decoupler, which is going to allow us to make a ship which I think will be able to land and launch again. Even with the current components. Might be tricky, but we'll give it a go. So we'll try that. Yeah, we're going to be using these landing struts as well. I'm excited. Goo, antennas, it's all good stuff. So anyways, I'm going to see you guys in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed the rekindling of this. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It was fun. It's going to continue to be fun, and maybe even more fun, because there's more stuff. It's getting really nice and polished. I'm loving it. So, again, hope you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next episode, and until then, I say unto you, peace out.